So, Sister Wei Wei,
Yeah.
what has been your involvement in the Rerum Novarum Center of the Jesuits here in Taipei, and more largely with the Jesuits over the years?
I'm happy to work in Rerum Novarum Center with the Jesuits. Most of the Jesuits, they are concerned about our service, our mission. So every time they ask me, what happened? Do you need help? So quite a good relationship. Especially, I remember 1 or 2 years, the provincial was very concerned about our donation. So for 2 reasons. One is to do some advocacy to the parish people. So to introduce our center, our service. And then the parishioner donate the money. So almost several times. So I got a very good impression. All the Jesuits, they encourage the parishioners to be generous. And also I feel the oneness as one body and mutual sharing. And especially for our staff, because many of them, they are non-Christian, even Buddhism. They had a quite positive impression. Yes.
You have also worked with the Jesuits on a larger level than the Chinese province. Tell us about this.
Yes, to have a certain relationship.
No, I have worked with...
Yes, I have worked with the other provinces, the Jesuits, especially Asian Pacific region or conference, because we had some Asian Pacific meeting, especially on migrant issues, migrant ministry, so like Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, or South Asian countries. So I also did some advocacy, encourage especially the sending country, I mean, to send the migrant workers to Taiwan and encourage the Jesuits there involved more and to be concerned, because many migrant workers, they are in a miserable situation, need collaborate together, not only through the service of a receiving country. We need the country, sending country, the Jesuit also can involve the mission. So I had quite a positive experience.
Tell me just a few more things about this work, about the situation of the migrant workers in Taiwan. Why did you have to get involved? Why are the Jesuits taking through the center a special attention to the situation of the migrant workers?
The Rerum Novarum Center started very long time ago, when the director was a Spanish Jesuit, Father Elamria, already started. So I feel very grateful. He is like a prophet, start the migrant workers. But small part, like only work for the migrant worker in factory. When I became director, and the situation became quite complicated, more and more migrant workers. So I developed the service, especially emphasize to the caregivers and the domestic helper, mainly working in the house, and they are more miserable because the law cannot protect them. It's a private space, and many employers treated the migrant badly. So I feel very sorry about that. And I'm local people, Taiwanese, so I would like our center can accompany them, support them, give them encouragement, even to do advocacy to the government. So in that time, develop a shelter to protect the victim of human trafficking and victim of sexual abuse and all kind of victims. Yes, and also later on, Taiwan, the migrant workers coming not only from Philippines, Thailand, it's the very beginning. Later on, many from Vietnam and from Indonesia. So our service also developed.
We are touching almost the root of your vocation.
Yes.
How do you link your vocation to this part of the work in the kind of social work? Tell us about your vocation.
You mean religious vocation?
In relation to your religious
ministry.
vocation in your ministry, yes.
Actually, long time ago, my religious congregation, we quite related to the Ignatius spiritual exercise. Usually every year we did that. And before my final walk, I made a one month, 30 days spiritual exercise. So get used to is very important for my spiritual life. I think I changed the ministry from the faith accompaniment for the local intellectual people and to the social ministry. The important is from the experience of the Jesus Christ on the cross, especially with the poor people together. So for me, it's like a second calling, not only religious life. I have to move to follow the call. And after several years later, to experience the calling, not right away. After several years, Renovation Center, they need a new director. In that time, the Chinese provincial, he thought I was studying social work. He thought we had the same spiritual roots, so he invited me to work as a director in Renovation Center. So start like that. But through my past 22 years experience, I feel although to work for the Aboriginal people, migrant workers, they are discriminated by the majority of people and neglected. And sometimes we worked a lot, but the result really sometimes feel powerless. But for me, same, the Jesus Christ suffering, I just feel those vulnerable people, for me, like the face of Christ. So when I even feel powerless, I feel so close to Christ. So become strength and also consolation to me. But of course, the risen Lord gave me very strong hope. To see sometimes we work a lot, still the story, sad story, continue, repeat and repeat. Sometimes doubting, is it valuable? But the risen Lord for me is important. Sometimes we cannot see, but accompany those powerless people, voiceless people, and in some way they will have hope.
Thank you very much, Sister Wei Wei.